Jordan was a great player, no doubt about it, but many forget just how great the basketball legend Scottie Pippen was as well. Jordan's record without Pippen is 154 and 170, which is a win percentage of 47.5%, and in the playoffs, he's 1-9 without Scottie Pippen. That's a win percentage of just 10%. On the flip side, Pippen without Jordan has a record of 295 and 185 with a win percentage of 61.4%. And in the playoffs, he has a non-Jordan record of 19 and 21 with a win percentage of 47.5%. Plus, Scottie almost led the Bulls to the conference finals without Jordan. Another thing I want to bring up is that maybe, just maybe, Jordan's mid-career retirement created a mythos around his 2 three-peats. Imagine if he never retired during his prime and then played those seasons out. What if he got fatigued and didn't have a perfect finals record because of it? Jordan was also never able to beat Larry Bird or Magic Johnson until way after their primes, but the reason I'm bringing this up is, what if Jordan's perfect finals record is more of a product of weak finals competition? Because Jordan never went up against prime Showtime Lakers, he went up against old Showtime Lakers. If instead of the Jazz back-to-back he faced prime Showtime Lakers back-to-back, would it be possible that prime Magic and Kareem steal a series from Jordan? And yes, the 90s had some insane competition, but it was top-heavy competition. So the good teams were good, but the bad teams were quite bad, and this is due to all the new teams being added to the league. As far as the regular season is concerned, this was an expansion era, so there were so many new cities who got teams like Miami, Minnesota, Charlotte, and Orlando. And during the regular season, there was a lot of cannon fodder for the better teams to just build up their good records and get easy wins and nice stats, which helps Jordan's overall win percentage and stat outlook and might make it much stronger than it really is. Imagine if LeBron James during his regular seasons were facing baby teams in cannon fodder. Would his regular season stats look much nicer than they already are and have a higher PER? Who knows?
I always feel like I'm the best to ever play this game, but there's so many other great ones, and I'm happy to just be a part of their journey.
For me, it could be compared to Michael, Magic, Kobe, all the ones that's making so success in the league. It's great, and I'm gonna just keep working hard, and someday it could be another one that could be compared to me.
It's just been a pleasure to be in this league for 20 years, and however long I, able to go, whatever the case may be, I've had a hell of a ride.
LeBron James is the greatest player ever.
That's what I say. I
Greater than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't have Michael number 2 either. So
you cannot tell me in a one-on-one game now that LeBron James wouldn't dominate Mike. In a one-on-one game, LeBron James, 6'9", 260 pounds. If the game was at 7, I think LeBron would win 7-3.
Sweet Lord.
Now you can talk.
In terms of statistics, LeBron is right there. And when you look across the board, not just scoring, check his assists, check his rebounds, he's probably ahead of Jordan.
Oh, my God!
What?
I just want to throw this water on you. Let me tell you, Scottie Pippen.
You see Bron pass Kareem last night?
Yeah, that was.
First off, big up to Bron.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
For that,
congratulations, bro. King of Kings, man.
You know what I'm gonna say? This conversation, when we talk about the GOAT, man, he might be the GOAT. I think that right there probably solidified it. And this is the reason why. He put himself in a place, where I don't see nobody passing him in our lifetime in the scoring, for one. 2, when you look at his accolades and you look at the longevity, and then you look at the biggest part of it was the expectations coming out of high school, that type of pressure. I'm gonna tell you this, I remember being in my first All-Star game in Philly. And, we in the locker room and, we talking to reporters and they was like, man, have y'all heard of this kid? The chatter was like, have you heard of this kid named LeBron James? Man, this kid he a high school phenom. He's so good, he could probably start in this All-Star game. And I was like, so I sat up and was like, what? I'm looking around, I'm like, they go AI, Kick Ticket, Shaq, Jordan. Like, this kid, I had to really sit up and say, it's a kid out there in high school this good. And I saw a lot of NBA guys was going out, flying out to see this play. Celebrities, rappers, Jay-Z and all them going out to see him play. So I'm like, man, this kid must be nice, but I don't think he that good, you know. And then just to see the pressure that was put on him coming into the league and to live up to those expectations, because they was like, he could be the greatest to ever play the game. And you like, man, they giving this kid this already? He came in with a nickname King out the jump. I ain't never seen that outside of Magic. Came in the league with the nickname. Like, usually you earn that while you in the league. And so for him to live up to it and probably surpass the expectations, that's tough, because nobody in our league has ever had to deal with these type of expectations coming in.
He's the greatest player the basketball universe has ever seen. And if you think you know, you don't know. Okay, until you're around him every day, you're coaching him, you're seeing his mind, you're seeing his adjustments, seeing the way he leads the group. If you think you know, you don't know. And it's just been a remarkable experience coaching him, and you know, seeing him take this group that was not in the playoffs last year. The roster was put together, you know, overnight, and just taking a group and leading us to the promised land, so they say. He was terrific, just the entire season leading us, and I can't say enough about him.
I'm a little bit jealous of LeBron, and let me tell you why. We're all part of the barbershop talk. Greatest analyst, one of the greatest shooters, greatest power forward, one of the most dominant big men, but I would love to have my conversations the greatest of all time. I'm not in that conversation. He is. Kobe Bryant is. Michael Jordan is. And I ask people this all the time. Even I checked this the other day. When he passes up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in points, what you going to say about LeBron? Is he the greatest player of all time? Is he one of the greatest players?
How insane it is that he's in his 20th year doing this. And I know there's advancements in science and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and
no, that's not it. That's not it.
He's 38 years old.
Fuck them advancements in
science. And he could lead the league in scoring.
Yeah.
Like, when we were younger, we think about, like, oh, older LeBron, what does he look like? Maybe he's like this slow center. No, he's still playing like LeBron.
Yo, because we all said that. Because a lot of people felt like, because that Bron's skills wasn't equal to his athleticism. But he ain't 9 threes the other night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's adapted his game to shooting a little bit more than what he did back earlier in his career. And he still got that youthful energy.
Yeah.
He popping around everywhere, diving over the fucking front row, like still taking off on people. Like, it's inspiring to see.
Yeah.
As a competitor, it's like, man, fuck that. I could do that shit too. But then it's like, damn, he was in year 20.
Yeah.
He's 38 years old. He goes through so much,
you
know, off the floor as just a man in general, with a family. He got so many responsibilities. Still love the game, still getting up, playing back-to-backs and shit, still playing 40 minutes. It's like, man, salute.
He needs to average 16 points this year to pass up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
You talking about LeBron?
Yeah,
LeBron,
so if he passes up the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in points, does that make him the best player ever?
No.
All right, so hold on. Okay. No, you say no. So if somebody is better than me and I pass them up, are they really better than me? Just asking.
He averaged 20 points a game as a rookie, and it only went up each year after that. And every time it would be like LeBron's the first to score this amount of points, so first to do that, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like he had the time and he was already the talent for one. And it was just a matter of if he wanted to play that long.
If you don't have killer instinct, how you get 38,000 points?
Yes, sir.
I'm just asking. Just asking.
I'm not like a natural scorer. I love getting my guys involved. I've always been that type of guy. And to sit at the top of the food chain and the most points scored in the history of the game is like, it's weird to me. Like, they don't ever call me. They don't never call me. When they talk about the best scorers of all time, they never mention my name.
Did that piss you off?
Yeah, it pissed me off.
Who's the greatest scorer of this era? Is it Steph? Is it James? KD?
LeBron James.
Scorer.
LeBron James.
I
hear exactly what you're saying. I hear exactly what you're saying. And people might disagree with me, but understand this. The greatest scorer is not only its consistency, its longevity, and its amount. He passed Michael Jordan 3 seasons ago, and he's going to add to that, right? Or before his career ends. So to pass LeBron James in all-time playoff scoring records, somebody is going to have to do what? Average 30 points a game and go to like 13 NBA finals. That shit's not going to be broken. The playoff one's not. And then he's going to pass Kareem. So as much as we don't view him as a scorer, right? Like Steph's greatest shooter, Kevin Durant's greatest like weapon as a scorer because he's so big. But like, who's the greatest scorer?
LeBron James, we can talk about his longevity, and that's part of the reason he's breaking this record. He's got the 5th highest career scoring average all time in the NBA. Better career shooting percentage from 2 than Kevin Durant, way better than Kobe, better than Jordan, 9th all time in threes. On top of that, he's 4th all time in assists. I just, the constant narrative about nitpicking things with LeBron, most of them are just not factual. LeBron James is not clutch, right? That's another thing that people bring up all the time. LeBron James, 2nd most game-tying or game-winning shots inside the final minute of the fourth quarter or overtime. Kobe's number 1. They're the only 2 guys that have more than 80. Kobe has 88. LeBron has 81. LeBron James has 5 game-winning buzzer beaters in the playoffs, the most ever in NBA history. I don't know where people are coming up with these. LeBron James, is he an all-time great scorer? No, he is the all-time greatest scorer.
The great thing about LeBron, he brings it every single night for 20 years.
Right.
Because them Cleveland teams, he had to bring it.
Yeah.
He put them on his back. Right. That's hard.
Yeah.
And he did that and took them to the finals.
Yes.
Oh, man. They didn't have clearly enough talent to be in the NBA
2007,
finals.
they had no business in the NBA finals.
That's right.
I always look at guys from my era, like I thought I would never compare somebody to Michael Jordan. But this guy, LeBron James, from a basketball, like he does everything well. What didn't Michael do well? Michael did everything well. LeBron James just bigger, stronger, faster. That's the only difference.
I'll say LeBron's my GOAT, hands down, nothing else.
The dude came in at, 17, 18 years old. Already had the hype. They already compared him to Mike. They compared this motherfucker to everyone. And all he did was carve out his own space. This motherfucker did all this and like, ain't no controversy, bro. All he doing is uplifting, speaking, doing his part, his role, responsibility from the time he was 18 years old. Do this motherfucker get a year off? And when he got in it, you got to think it was Kobe, it was Garnett, like the league was flourishing. And you know what I mean? And he
Tim
came
Duncan,
in and he carried his own.
There is no denying like his greatness in terms of what he can do on the court. And like sometimes even when you're playing against him, you're in awe because it's like the way he can control the tempo of the game, the way he can dominate scoring, passing, just his overall just presence and his IQ, like all that stuff. Like we all talk about it. And you have to appreciate your competition if you want to beat them because there's got to be that, as Coach would call it, the appropriate fear.
Absolutely.
LeBron is going to have the greatest career ever.
Yes.
And what he's doing right now is incredible. So it's unbelievable.
I get asked all the time about, MJ, LeBron, and it's such a difficult question to ask. All I know is they're the two best players that I've ever witnessed. They're very different, but however you want to rank them, they're right there together.
I was a huge Michael Jordan fan. Like that was the mythical. I've never seen full games or see him play in person. All you get are these highlights. You got game winners. You got him locking people up. You got him dunking. And in my head, I'm like, oh, he does it all. Like this is like the best dude to ever do it. And then LeBron comes in like 2003, and we start watching him. And then I get older, and I start realizing more about basketball, and my mind for the game understands how hard certain stuff is. And I mean, I don't know when it changed, but there was somewhere around the year 6, 7, 8 for LeBron where I was like, yeah, this dude's got to be the best basketball player to ever play. Like there's nobody that can do what he's doing. And then he did it for another 10 years. So I was like, well, what do you want him to do? Like dude's amazing.
We have never seen in the NBA a player like LeBron James. And he breaks a record every single night just to remind you that you've never seen this before. Some people will have a record and they'll dominate in one category, but this dude is dominating. He's in the top 10, Shannon, in every
fifth
statistical
point.
category. That's never happened.
Right.
And when it's all said and done, it's going to be hard for people to look back 10 years from now and say he wasn't the best.
I think LeBron has been a tremendous basketball player, not only for himself, but for the league, and also for Cleveland. You know, it's such hard for me to say that he's anything but the top.
As far as playing basketball, you've got to enjoy this guy. If you're a basketball fan, you got to sit back and go, wow, how did he do that? Or I always say, boy, I wish I had his speed.
Yeah.
You know? But some of the stuff that kid does out there, he's by far, you know, Kobe was always my favorite since I got out.
I don't like that, by the way.
But LeBron James is by far our best player in this league. I don't think there's really anyone next to him. I think he's there, then you go down the list.
You know, when we came here 3 years ago in the first meeting, we weren't fearful of his shot. We were fearful of his power and his penetration and his passing. But now you fear everything. And I think maybe the greatest testament to LeBron is that, 5 years ago, he was one of the top 5 players of all time. From 5 years ago till now, it seems like he's 10 times better because he's added so much skill to his game.
MJ is MJ. Like, we all wanted to be like Mike. Like, I wear 23. Come on now. Like, we all want to be like Mike. But what LeBron has been able to do and how he can control a game and to do it this long, like, MJ retired. Like, this shit's grueling. Like, going to the finals year after year after year. Bron went 8 or 9 straight years.
9 straight.
Like, MJ took a break right in the heat of that shit. Bron ain't taking no break. You know what he did? Went again and again and again and again.
With different guys every time.
And again. So, for me, that's why it's Bron over MJ for me. And on top of that, the talent nowadays is way better. And I'm sure one of the old is gonna say, you out of your mind, and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. The talent is way better.
Bron is, my GOAT.
Is he? Oh, let's talk about that.
The fact that he can play all 5 positions, the fact that he's done this shit for 17 years consistently, no drop off at any time. And we've been saying, well, not we.
You can decide, you big teething right now, like you really feeling this.
But I'm saying,
he's
the best all-around player of all time. It's not far.
Oh yeah, there's no question.
All right,
I'll give him that.
All of them.
LeBron is in a class of his own. He is absolutely unique. He's Michael. He's Magic. He's Kobe. He's Jerry West. He's Bill Russell. You take all of these great players and you put them in a blender, mix them up. LeBron's got something of all of them in him.
The difference between Michael and LeBron, when Michael came in the league, he surprised everybody how great he was. When LeBron came in the league, they expected him to be great, so it was already on him. Michael, in some ways, we allowed him to grow into greatness. We didn't allow LeBron that, and he still overachieved. LeBron is better than anyone ever thought, which is amazing. When you think, if you read it, you should go back and read the articles about LeBron coming into the NBA, and then say he overachieved that. It's remarkable. He rarely gets hurt. He always shows up. He's had some of the biggest clutch games in NBA history, yet no one knows it. It's incredible. I think LeBron's going to be one of those guys when he retires in 10 years from now, people are going to say, man, LeBron James was one of the best players ever. And we're going to be back saying, we were trying to tell you that 20 years ago, you're too busy telling us that he wasn't.
From the time that he first came in the league, his debut in Sacramento where he was attacking the rim with, ferocity and finishing. And as you can see here, when he had that phenomenal second half against us. We went to 5th straight conference finals at that moment. We didn't play 500 games in 5 seasons. We in quicksand. My man putting the turbo button on, and he's still doing that.
It's like he hitting the R1 on you.
He's still hitting the turbo button to this day.
Man.
And
we've been spoiled.
It's just been remarkable what he's been able to do. And not only that, he came into the league with a lot on his shoulders. Everybody was saying this is the next guy, and he's been able to withstand and hold that and be great.
LeBron came into the league, first game in Indiana. Oh, I was so pissed. First game in Indiana, he gave me 25.
he went to the fans and said, "This is your best defender." I heard this, right? I'm fucking furious.
I know you furious.
I walked the other way. I'm like, this kid is great. I got out of this kid is fucking really good. But I'm super fucking pissed he disrespect me, and I want to walk up to this motherfucker, and he bust my ass,
Yeah,
right?
He done to all of us.
So he, you know what I'm saying? First game. Mm-hmm. So that was like, wow, this is crazy.
But like LeBron, when I first started guarding LeBron, I didn't really know what he was going to do, and he was quite successful, but it was still like, it wasn't as predictable.
Man, I rank him up there, man, with Kobe,
right,
Mike. Some of the things that he accomplished, and he's still playing, and he got time to do some more.
Right.
He's special, man. You think about it, man. He done played 15 years, and he's still playing just as many minutes as he started.
Don't think we give him enough credit.
It's almost like scary, man. Not to rank him as one of the best to ever play.
Right.
I
remember first time playing against him in the actual game. He was so much bigger and stronger than everybody at that position. And me and Tayshaun was sitting on the bench because, at that time he was a pass first type of guy. He still is a pass first type of guy. And we were like, hey, you know what? We better beat up on him now because once he figures it out, we ain't gonna have a chance. And in that playoff game, he kind of figured it out and had 25 straight points on us. I looked at Tay, I said, Tay, bro, he figured it out, man. That might have been our last time the year before that of beating up on LeBron James because now this kid is about to take over the league.
And the player to coach against, and one most difficult and going through in the playoffs, was LeBron James. This guy was looking in your mouth like right there and just it was telling the players exactly what was going to happen on the play that you call.
But that changed, and you know this. Like we beat him a couple times when he was in Cleveland. He was not that way. I've never seen a change in a player. I knew we were in trouble in Miami when we were coaching. When he was in Cleveland, he was just playing basketball. Right. We get to Miami, and he's in Miami now, and he's calling our plays out. He's staring over at our bench. Yeah. He's reading stuff, and I remember saying, "Oh, this is not good."
I remember for years I always caught so much flack, us being the better team or whatever we was at one point in the Eastern Conference Finals, and people not realizing like it's tough to get past this motherfucker. I don't care who you are, you know what I mean, and see him come to the West and be able to do the same thing. It's a testament to his greatness and, his IQ to the game.
The one thing I don't leave this game with is any idea whatsoever what to do with him. As a coach, you're supposed to have some idea. I don't have a clue, okay? I don't. When we double-teamed him, he made the right play every time. When we didn't double-team him, he made every jump shot he took, it seemed like, and then he gets the ball to the basket and draws fouls. So you would like to come out of game one and say, wow, at least we found a game plan we think will work. I can't say I've done that. He's unbelievable.
I don't know who's been more faithful to their just being disciplined to the game. Like, Bron knows every scheme, knows every coach, knows every player. He knows players in college. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we talking about shit like this.
Probably the smartest player in our game, which you couple that with the experience that he has, the physical tools, the skill, the work ethic, it ends up equaling out to one of the most unstoppable players to ever play this game.
He can explain this game forward and back.
He has a very high IQ, basketball IQ, right?
Wow. It's unbelievable. So you talk about somebody that know the playbook, know where everybody's supposed to be, know the other teams, coaches, playbook, style of coaching, how his ball club's gonna play. Like, Bron's one of them where you'll be like, we going into Philly tonight. He'd be like, no, but they just hired their new defensive coach, but he was at Georgetown for 3 years, and I played for him one time at camp, and this is how they gonna play us. And you'd be like, what?
He'll come in and he won't say anything for a while, and then he'll see something and he'll just stop it and start talking, and he talks exactly like a coach. He's like, well, if X2 comes over this block and then X5 flashes here to the paint, and the backside should be free. I'm like, yeah, dude talks like he's been an NBA coach for like a decade already, and he's got a head coaching job. Just little stuff like that. Like, did y'all see the clip from the bubble where he stood up and he was like, "It's our ball."
It ain't our ball. It ain't our ball. It's our ball, ain't it? It's our ball.
The refs like made a mistake and like gave the ball on the baseline, gave it to the other team, and they're going down the other way instead of our ball baseline out of bounds. I didn't realize it. Coaches didn't realize it. Like, nobody else realized it. And LeBron, you got the soundbite of him looking over. And he's like, "Isn't it our ball? Isn't it our ball?" And of course it was. You know, and they stopped the whole game and give us the ball back. Just little things like that. Like, I don't think his mind is ever not churning, not working.
Like, if you watch him play, he's always playing chess before he even puts his body into the game. His mind's there first. And when you're doing that, when you're playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers, you're always a step ahead. You can continue to just push the number out.
This man's mind is a stinking computer. We're playing in the playoffs. I think it was Detroit. He's calling out their substitution patterns. He goes, "Hey, in 2 minutes, they're bringing in Aaron Baines and they're taking this out. So let's go on a run. When Baines comes in, Chaney's going to come in. Boom, 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 boom." And I'm like, Eastern Conference Finals. This is a true story from a Toronto player, and I was there because he was guarding me. They come out of a timeout, and Kyle Lowry throws his hands up, whatever, and the guy goes, "Dang, I didn't see the call." Brown goes, "You're supposed to be in the corner, and then you're going to cut across. He's going to sit a down screen. You're going to come over. We're going to switch that, and then Kyle's going to have to play me one-on-one."
Like, it's scary because there's times that he'll like be in a post up and he'll be like, "Shump, if he move, cut right behind him if he move." And he'll start his dribble. And everything he's saying, you just watch it happen. And the moment that man flinch, I'll sprint behind it, catch, dunk. And I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on the court. I'm just like, even I'm sitting there baffled. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hoop with the man. Like, he gonna do some stuff, but he can break, like you said, he can break it down. X4 did this, so I did this. Right. If X3 does this, there's no way he can recover to this. I don't even have to look over there. I know he's gonna be there. I can just throw it.
He's dominated this era of basketball that he's played in. And everything that he's learned, he's taught himself.
Right.
He hasn't had
That
that
OG.
Bill Russell.
That OG.
He hasn't had that JoJo White or that OG to sit down and talk. He's been the guy, which is, head-wise, I mean.
Had to figure it out.
He's got to be a basketball savant, genius, just totally on another different level that, arguably we haven't seen in this league. I mean, even when we talk about Jordan and Kareem.
There is a sense of helplessness. I mean, you're just like in the middle of his personal highlight tape. Is like when he's knocking down shots and he's in that zone. There's just pretty much nothing you can do about it. You just pretty much have to accept that greatness is happening. I know the feeling.
It's one thing to get to the top. It's another thing to stay there. Like, I think what makes him great, his greatest attribute is his ability to do it again tomorrow. Like, his ability to recover on a day-to-day basis it's out of this world. Like, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I remember one game, we played Utah. I think it was 1 or 2 overtimes, and the next morning he was in there. I came in early to get some treatment, and he was on the Versa climber, in his spandex, no shirt on, like, busting out 30 minutes on the Versa climber, saying, "I got to get ready for the playoffs." Like, I think his level of dedication to his body and his crap, I think people just see how big and strong he is, and it's I walk away from those years. It's one thing when you're playing against them; it's easy to get hater narratives in your head, but then when you're with him and you see his dedication to his craft, you see what he puts into it every single day. He is literally the first person there and the last person to leave every single day, and he's LeBron James.
I've seen this guy roll his ankle and come back and give you about 20 in the fourth quarter. I'm talking about a bad roll ankle, and I'm like, oh, he done. He come right back. I'm out 4 weeks with this roll ankle. He come right back, fourth quarter, scored 20. It was like when God made him, he was like, all right, I'm going to give you all this. I'm going to take everything, but I'm going to take one thing from it. I ain't going to give you no lining. But I'm going to give you everything else. That's why I tell Brown, I'm like, he gave you everything. He gave him everything.
When me and him clicked in 2015, I had one of my best years. I was all NBA third team. Bron was like behind the scenes. What's his nickname that they like call him? Legium?
Bron started in 03. By 2005, Bron was the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
In 2020, he was still the best player in the NBA. He was the best player in the NBA no matter what the game did. The game went from 2 slugs, like slow big man, to like a stretch 4 big man, to like back to 2 big men, to like big man.
Me and you out there playing the phone to phone.
And he's been the best no matter what. When you look at the teams that Bron has carried to championship or carried to the finals, MJ didn't beat the greatest team ever assembled, nor did he run up against the greatest team ever assembled every year. You look at the skill set that Bron has. There's nobody that has ever played the game of basketball that can do what LeBron James does on a basketball court. Nobody.
Greatest player all time.
Greatest player.
Greatest player all time. I know it's hard for you too.
It's not hard. No. I would say. I
won't lie. I'm going with LeBron.
I'm gonna say LeBron too. And like I said, only because I just think that
when he's done, he'll get his respect.
Yeah,
I think
he's just been too dominant for too long, and he's so physically. We've never seen a guy who's been so physically imposing. You know, that's not a big man.
Yeah.
You know, LeBron is just. He's too big, strong, and fast for any era. And I think that when you talk about the era of basketball that we were in, and I've got tons of respect for, you know, the old school 80s, 90s. But I think with what sports medicine has done and sports science has done to
evolution and all these things,
it's changed the game. So
you.
I just think people are being dishonest, and I'm gonna say this on your platform so people will finally understand. Like it's not that hard to understand the difference in eras, right? So at my heaviest, when I was in Indiana, I was 273.
Okay.
Right. 273 pounds.
Yeah.
Roy was 295 pounds.
This is Roy Hibbert.
Roy Hibbert.
Okay.
Roy was anywhere from 295, 285 on a light day, 295 on a heavy day, right?
Yeah.
We had Danny Granger who played the 3. And he was 245 pounds at the 3. Paul George was 220 at the 2. And whether it was Lance or if we had Lance at the 1, Lance is 230 pounds as a point guard. George Hill, 195. Right? For as great as the Pistons were in the 90s, I'm not taking the Pistons with Isaiah and Lambeer. Those guys were great.
Yeah.
Lambeer was only 245 pounds.
Well, nah, that's fast.
You understand? Like Rick Mahone was 250.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
On the Knicks with Anthony Mason and Oakley, those guys were super tough. Xavier McDaniel, Mace was 245. Patrick was 235.
Yeah.
Right? So physically, there was a time in the NBA where like Memphis, for instance, when Memphis had Zebo and Gasol, you're talking about 275 at the power forward and center. You know, you're talking about you're talking about just bigger, stronger people. So it's not a matter of who's doing what. It's if you're playing shooting guard at 213 pounds, how can you deal with a 270 pound wing?
Thank you said that.
That's all
Thank you said that.
I'm very vocal. I think LeBron is the best player that's ever played the game. He's 6'8", 285 pounds, runs like the wind, and jumps out of the gym. And more importantly, when he came in the league from day one, he knew how to involve his teammates to win. And that's something that Jordan had to learn for a long time. Now, if you go by championships, obviously Michael Jordan has more championships. But I think LeBron in any generation would be doing what he's doing right now all these years. And I think at the end of the day, I firmly believe that he's the best basketball player in the history of the game.